Recording your mixes can be one of the best ways to get yourself noticed as a DJ, but depending on what equipment you use, it can often be a confusing and difficult task. In this video, we're going to show you exactly how to record your set no matter what setup you're playing on. Let's get into it. So let's start with controllers. Now, because controllers rely on DJ software to work, it's actually so simple to record your mixes. You can do this within any of the big softwares that all have the recording functionality. In Traktor, make sure you go to global settings and make sure you have the global section ticked, and then in the top right hand corner there's a little tape icon and you can hit record in there. In Serato, the record options in the top left hand corner of the main screen, and then go down, hit record, record your set, hit record again to stop the recording, and then make sure you press save straight after that to save the recording. This will instantly show up in your Serato library. In Record Box, in the top at the middle of the screen, hit the record preference playing there. That will open up the record section. Press record, record your mix. When you're done, just press record again and you'll be prompted to enter the details, the name and the artist of that mix, and you can save it straight away. It's as simple as that. So we've covered controllers and how to record your DJ set there, but what happens if you're at the club or you're using a standalone mixer like these two here? What we need to do is record our sets with an external device, and there's various ways of doing that. Now, most professional club mixers, from Allen and Heath, Denon and Pioneer DJ, the big 4 channels ones are ones you find in the club, they will have a feature called Record Out. And the Record Out is a pair of line level RCAs found here, and what a Record Out is it outputs your mix just like the master does to the speakers. However, it just outputs a mix according to the volume level set on the trim. So if you're recording in a venue and it's live, you can set your trim and be recording your mix, have your music playing, and then as the night gets busier you can change the volume on the master, and of course because it's ignoring the master and it's just taking the trim levels into account, your Record Out won't jump the recording volume of your mix as you turn up the master to your crowd. It's a great feature for those DJs who want to record in a live environment and won't have the master influencing the volume of the final mix that you're recording. Now, not every mixer has this. This little 2-channel Pioneer mixer here, this doesn't have a Record Out, unfortunately. What this has instead, it has a Master 2 here. So you got your master, go to your speakers in the club on the XLRs, and you've got a Master 2, which is also a line level RCA output. So we can plug an external device into this as well, but what we need to be mindful of is when we adjust the master volume, so like I said, in a live environment, if you start changing the volume here, that will influence your mix. So you need to be more careful about the volume levels when you're using the Master 2 as your recording source. But if you're on a mixer with a Record Out, a dedicated Record Out, the only thing you need to note is making sure your trims aren't in the reds, your gains structure is all good, and forget about the master. You can do what you want with that. It's also really handy if you're DJing at home. You can, not annoy your neighbors. You can have the master turned way down and still have your recording level, a strong signal on your main 2 channels that you're DJing on, or your 4 channels, whatever you're doing. You can have that nice and strong and have your master turned down so you're not annoying your neighbors at home. So that's why we have a Record Out or Master 2 on one of these. So let's get into what you can plug into these and the various ways you can record your sets. So now we know what a Record Out does and what a Master 2 Out does, and we know what to look out for. What devices can we actually plug into these to record our sets? Well, a lot of people used to use, and still do, little recording devices such as this one. This is an Olympus, Tascam make very popular ones as well. And these little audio recorders can plugged into with one of these cables, little 3.5mm jack to RCA. Most people have these for plugging in their phones to play music into the mixer, whereas we can actually use this cable, exact same cable, to take music from the Record Out and plug it into a recording device. There's also the Reloop tape, which is a very popular product at the moment. But the problem with these products is they use micro SD cards or SD cards to record onto, which means when you get home, you're gonna have to go plug that into your computer and upload the file that way. But recently there's been a product released called the EverMix. This is the EverMix, very, very small portable box. And what this does, and how it's different to a normal recorder, is this box with the two RCA cables here, you can plug from the record out on the Master 2 straight into here. And then on the other side, you can plug your phone. And what this allows you to do is to upload directly from your phone, no needing your computer or an external computer to do anything. You can do it straight from your phone. So let's have a quick look at how you plug one of these in and how you would upload your mix. So what I've done is plug into the record out of this mixer, gone straight into the EverMix box, and then I've attached the iPhone cable, the lightning adapter onto the EverMix box, which will then plug into my phone here. So that's how you set it up. You can have an Android cable, they do both. And you can also charge your phone through the EverMix box. So if you're doing a longer set and you're worried about your phone running out of battery whilst it's recording your set, you can plug in a micro USB charger to the EverMix box, and that will supply power through to the phone as well. It's always a top tip to go into your phone and put it in airplane mode so you don't get any phone calls coming in or anything like that disrupting your recording process. So plug the cable into the bottom of the phone like so. Launch the EverMix app, which is available on the Google Play Store or the App Store. And then it will say, you've not recorded any mixes yet, would you like to record your next set? Press yes. And there we have. You can see here, we can choose between a WAV file or an AAC file. Now I would always record in AAC. WAV is lossless, of course, but the file sizes are massive. So even on this iPhone here, which basically is brand new, it doesn't have much on it, I can only record 44 minutes because I've only got 27 gig free. Whereas if I record in AAC, even the high quality 320 kps version, I can now record over 100 hours of music on the same 27 gig that's free. You can also have a crowd input selection here. To use that, you need to plug in an external microphone into the line input on the EverMix box, but we're not going to bother with that today. So I'm just going to show you how this works. So I've got this deck set up and playing, so we'll just launch that. Get this plugged in. Where is it? The line. There we go. So some audio coming through here now. We've got this playing, and we can see we've got a visual indicator of our levels, so we know we're not too loud. Like I said, I've actually got the master turned off here. I can turn the master up and have it out coming here, but because we're doing the record out, it's only the trim level here that I need to worry about. So I'm not even going into the reds on the mixer. I'm not going into the reds here either. They're perfectly synced up. If I turn that down, you see it goes down and then back up, and I can literally just hit record, put my phone down, like I said, put it in airplane mode, put your phone down, start doing your mix, record your mix away, and then when you're done, you can simply hit the stop button. Now we have our mix here to go. We can add certain tags to it so we don't lose that mix. So I can say, okay, that was a house mix. And I also played a bit of drum and bass in there and a bit of chill out. Well, no, it wouldn't be chill out, would it? Let's say trance. Go back, can add an event, EverMix recording, add a location, Crossfader. And then once we've done that, we can then, you can also scrub through your mix and play it and see if you were happy with it. You can delete your mix in the top right corner, but the best thing about this is we can share the mix directly to SoundCloud or Mixcloud from our phone. No computer required, none of that hassle of having to take the SD cards out. Just simply hit the button and share it straight away with all your friends. Fantastic little app. If you don't want to upload them straight away, you can still manually export this mix from your phone. You can just hit the share button and we can share this through AirDrop, we can text it, we can email it, or we can save it to Dropbox, which is probably the easiest way to move these large files. It's a really small, portable, handy package is the EverMix, and we love it here. So it's a really cool product and a great way of recording your sets when you're out and about. So we've covered what to do with the record out if you've got an external recording device, but what happens if you don't have one of them? Well, another great way of recording your mix from the record out or the master 2 is a USB sound card, and then use a laptop or another computer to record your mix. Now, sound cards can be very expensive, but they don't have to be. You can get a Behringer little USB one for around $20. They're great for this kind of purpose because they're small and lightweight. You could use bigger, more expensive sound cards that you may already own. Focusrite 2i2, the Scarlett 2i2 is a great popular sound card. Or maybe you're an old DVS user and you don't realize that you actually own a sound card already. USB sound cards for DJs such as the Rane SL3, which I have here. Rain boxes, the Denon sound cards, they can be utilized for this purpose. So what you need to do is plug into the record out and then plug into the input on your USB sound card. So on this Rane SL3, we actually have an auxiliary input on here. So we can plug that straight in, just like that. And then you can use your audio recorder of choice. A lot of people will use studio software and DAWs such as Ableton or Logic, but you can record into basically anything. You can record into GarageBand, or the one I'd go for, it's a free download for Mac, Windows and Linux, is Audacity. It's a great program. So it's a free download, as I say, and we'll put a link in the top right hand corner to download Audacity. And once you've got Audacity set up, it's really simple on how to use. So on here, I've already got the Rane drivers installed on my computer. So what I'm going to do is just check the input recording device. So up here in preferences, got my devices, recording, and here I can use the built-in microphone on my computer, or I can use the SL3. I'm going to use the SL3. Make sure if you are using something like an SL3 that has phono preamps in it, that the toggle switches on it are set to line. You need to be on a line level input, otherwise you'll have mad distortion. So that's plugged in there. Set my channels. Make sure that's on SL3. You can, instead of going into preferences, you can just do it there. And then it's as simple as pressing record on here and starting the mix. So the music's coming through now. And as you can see on the screen recording here, Audacity is picking it up. Again, perfect ratio on the line, so I can turn the trim up and redline it, and obviously it will redline on here, as you can see, but I won't do that, of course. Record within your limits and it will record directly onto your computer. Then you can save the file and upload it or edit it before so, and upload it to your sharing platform of choice. Really easy way and a great way of utilizing old hardware. Does mean you have to take your laptop to the club, however. So for our final method, I'm going to show you how to use the club's mixer or your own mixer that has a USB sound card inside it. So most modern mixers do have USB sound cards inside them. I'm going to show you how to use that instead of any external recording devices or sound cards. All you'll need is a computer and your mixer of choice. Now your mixer does need to have a USB sound card in it. A lot of people think that's just for use with like DVS and club kit, you know, Serato, record box, performance mode, things like that, but you can actually use it just as a sound card itself. So what we want to do is find a mixer. So this X1800 Denon Prime, this has two USB ports, so we'll just plug a USB cable straight into the top of there, into the mixer, to the computer. And then because this Denon is what we call class compliant with Apple, so what that means is you don't actually need to set up any drivers or anything of the sort. As soon as you plug that in to an Apple computer, it will automatically just work and see the device. It's much the same as what we did with the Rainbox. All we need to do is head into a recording software of our choice. So what I'm going to do is just open Audacity, and I can see straight away that the computer can see X1800 Prime. This is because it's a core compliant product, as I've said. I will show you how to do it with other mixers in a second, but we can just simply set the recording going, and it comes straight through. Doesn't matter about what USB toggles you got on the top here, you just need to focus on your mix as if you're playing to the public, and that cable will send through the line level input to your computer and it's recording away absolutely fine. So again, that's the same as record out, so it doesn't matter about your master. That is literally taking the record straight in, no external devices needed, just works straight away. So if your mixer isn't core compliant and you have to install drivers, whether on Windows or on Mac, you will more than likely have a settings utility for your mixer on your computer, a little program to change some settings. So the first thing we need to do is just check those settings to allow the mixer to be sending the right recording channels to your computer. So on this Mac here, I'm just going to open up the settings utility for this DJM 450. So what I've done is I've just plugged into the rear of this USB port here and plugged it straight into the Mac. And on the setting utility here, you can see that we have 3 tabs: a mixer input, mixer output, and about. Now, don't get confused with the mixer input. You may think that's the setting you need to change straight away, but it's actually not. Mixer input is relating from what comes from the laptop to the mixer to input onto the mixer. What we're caring about is obviously taking our mix. When we've got our decks playing, we want to take the audio from the mixer into the computer. So that's actually an output. So we'll go to the output section. Now, depending on which mixer you have, will require how many channels you've got available here. So as you can see, at the moment, we've got just one channel we can change the setting in, and that's the dedicated record channel. Because it's a dedicated record channel, we've got 2 main channels and then a dedicated output, a 3rd channel coming to the computer. Because this is a dedicated record channel, it's automatically selected record out. We do have the choice of sending just the mic or the auxiliary or channel 1, channel 2. If we did click mic, when you press record in your computer, the only thing you would hear is the microphone. Channel 1, you'd only hear channel 1, but we want the entire output of the record, so we're going to select record out. It is worth noting, however, on this 450 mixer, we don't have a record out in terms of the physical 2 RCA line level outputs, but it does have a record out within the mixer. It's just hidden into that USB setting, so it's a great way of recording on this particular mixer. Now, this is a 2-channel mixer. It's quite small, but it does have a dedicated record channel. Other 4-channel mixers allow you to change more settings. So here on this DJM 900 Nexus 2, you can see we have 4 full channels, and again, just like this 450, a dedicated record channel where we can send the mix to the record. However, that's not always the case. On the older DJM 850, we only have the 4 channels on the mixer from the sound card. So what we'd need to do is we'd need to sacrifice a channel to send the record back into the computer. So if you're DJing on turntables, on DVS, and you're wanting to record back in, the DVS for the turntables and phono inputs are only available on channels 1 and channel 4. So you'd need to then send your record through one of the line channels that you're not using. If you're using CDJs, for example, maybe you're doing a 3-deck mix. So you'll have a CDJ on line input on deck 1, deck 2 and deck 3, and then you've got the 4th channel just free. What we'd do there is we'd select CD line for all the first 3, and then the 4th one we would select record out, and then within our recording software we just need to tell the computer in the recording software that we're using channel 4 or USB 7 to 8, so they're the channel number 7 to 8 as our record out, and that's how we record in using the older mixer. So you have to sacrifice a channel on these. The more modern mixers like the 450 and the 900, you can just use the dedicated record channel. You don't need to bother with the other 4, but it's just worth noting, if you are using an older mixer, that's how you get your record out into your computer. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to show you how to record using your DJ software. You could use Audacity. You know, I've shown you how to use that already, and you just go in and change it to the mixer and the channel number that you'd need. However, you can use programs that you may already have installed. So Rekordbox, this is a Rekordbox compatible mixer, but we're not going to be DJing with it. Now I'm in export mode. I can keep the record tab still open, so I'm not DJing with this at all. I'm using the external source, and when I start DJing on this deck, as you can see in the software, it's now coming through. I can just hit record there, and I'm recording using software I've already got installed. I don't need to download Audacity. I can just use this straight away. It's not a problem, works fine. It's a great little tip for using software that you've already got installed with external decks. So if you've got Rekordbox and you've prepared your USBs and you've gone to the club, take your laptop along, plug into the mixer and you record your set. You don't need to be necessarily DJing from a laptop to use your laptop to record your sets. And there we have it. Numerous ways to get your mixes recorded. Which method did you find most useful? Which one are you going to use? Let us know in the comments below. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more videos just like this, and we'll catch you in another one. Cheers.